The last thing you should have to worry about as a consumer is somebody using your card out there and not knowing how you're going to get that money back. Helping those people not have to deal with this. That is what I absolutely love, and it's my favorite problem to solve.
We were successful at other banks, but we wanted to push the envelope and be innovative. The bigger company you try and do that in, the more it will push back. And it's like, yeah, that's a little too edgy. Why don't you just do your regular work? Eventually it just got to the point where it's like, we could stay here doing boring, routine, year-over-year stuff, or let's try and do something innovative.
We started talking about what we wanted to do and what we could see being done in the fraud and dispute space, and where can we not be held back by all these processes and all this governance. At about the same time we knew we wanted to leave, we saw an opening in the market, this fraud and dispute space, where nobody was solving this problem with technology. So the 4 founders had gotten together trying to figure out what we wanted to do with this idea that we had.
So we were sitting around brainstorming names.
We started talking about how we develop our software. And for us, that really led to the nerdiest 2 words that we could put together, which is quantum and evolution, right? Small changes over a long period of time. We combined those together to come up with Quavo.
If you look at the whole ecosystem, you have banks who issue credit cards, merchants who take credit cards, and you have Visa, MasterCard, Amex, and other networks in the middle. So when you go to dispute something, it's a very, very complex process. What we're doing is we're making that complex process go away through automation.
We are there to help financial institutions remain compliant with fraud and disputes. A byproduct of that, and a really great byproduct of that, is that we're helping the general public who have issues with fraud and disputes.
That has been our focus. How can we stay in compliance with the regulations? How can we help the users be more efficient? And how we can help the cardholders with the least amount of pain possible.
If you take a look around the industry today, they have many, many investigators that are looking manually at these claims, but it's very highly regulated, and because it's highly regulated, it can be automated.
We've sort of challenged the notion that you should build something specifically for users. Let's build it to automate the work away from the users so that they're doing the value add work, and build it so that it automates things like compliance instead of making them part of a procedure. It's a shift in how people have tackled this problem.
Right now, so many banks say, okay, if we're going to have an increase of 25% in fraud, we need to hire 25% more people. And obviously there's a cost to that. Being able to go into a client and say, hey, look, for the past year, if you didn't have Quavo, you would have spent X. And now that you have Quavo, you're spending Y, which is less than X.
When our clients come to us, they generally have one of 4 different problems. They're either having a regulatory issue, they could be having an expense issue where they simply are throwing bodies at this problem. The third issue is really about losses. When a bank receives a dispute from a cardholder, there's the potential that the bank loses that money. And that's not really good for anybody either. And then the fourth one, and this is my absolute favorite one, is the cardholder experience. How can we ensure that we're driving resolution time down, that we're coming to the right outcomes for our cardholders as quickly as possible?
Banks, they have a tough job. They have to serve a lot of different masters. They're in a world that, before we move in, that's very chaotic. They were unable to really focus on the account holder and how we were treating account holders. What we found is when we can come in, they can start actually focusing again on account holders and how they're treating them and how quickly the process is moving.
The industry average is 2 months, and Quavo, we do it in about 15 or 16 days. We're not in the business of just saying, hey, we're using a cool new technology. It's got to be intentional, and it's got to be solving a problem.
We've been consumers, we've been working for banks, and now run a software company that solves this problem. We've tackled it from all angles, and we've brought that expertise in.
I'm not an artist, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a surgeon, I'm not saving lives that way. But I am passionate about this because it is helping people. We want people to know, even when things go wrong, that you can still be confident in your bank. you can still be confident they're going to do the right thing for you. And Quavo empowers banks to provide that confidence to their account holders.